Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yay! Got some cool stories coming. We'll do a little bit of AMA if you want. Got questions, put them in the chat. Mr. InBetween is here today, so he's going to be driving the chat bus and letting me know, showing me things that we need to look at, stuff like that. Just letting you know that if you hear a little audio something, it's because I'm doing the show with my ceiling fan on because it's hot and it's humid and we don't have air conditioning. My window's closed, so if I don't have the ceiling fan on, I will melt. So there you go. So that's my word of warning. So if you hear any weird noise, it's probably just my ceiling fan. What else do I need to tell you before we get started today? I don't know. I hope everybody's summer is going well. I can't believe how fast it's going. The end of July, how is that even possible? I don't know. Wow. Oh, there's just so many things going on. So, yeah, and we're doing a live stream today because we needed a little extra time to get ready for not only next week's video, but we have another collaboration coming up. So we need a little extra time to get that all in order and get that shot and off to who it needs to go to get it all done. Hopefully you'll see that collaboration coming up soon with some well-known and not so well-known storytellers. Some may be new to you people out there. You should be seeing that collaboration coming up toward the end of August. Fingers crossed. I don't know. It was supposed to be here in June, and then life just got crazy for everybody. So we're kind of hoping we've put another line in the sand at the end of August. So I'm hoping that works out. So that's coming. Mr. InBetween, do you have anything that we need to know before I get started in the first story?
I don't have anything right off here, but yeah.
Okay. We will dive into the first story, which is kind of a long one, so kind of hang with me on this one. But it's kind of fun. So this one comes from Rick, who is an Ohioan through and through.
Right on. Rick is here, I think. He said, "Hi, Mr. InBetween." Before we do that, though, let's go through and say hi to some of the people we've gotten in here.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Man, we've got a lot. We've got a lot of people. Carol's in here. We got Cindy.
And the sad thing is, I just said hi to Rick, and I wasn't even putting two and two together that it was the Rick. So, Rick, I hope I do your story justice. I hope. I'm going to do my best, I promise. I have to edit it down a little bit, but I think I got the gist of it still there.
We have our brand new Hoopy Fruit member, Adrian, is in here. Thank you, Adrian, for
another Hoopy Fruit. Thank you so much.
He just signed up yesterday or the day before. I don't remember.
Nice.
And we have Brian and Marty and John and Clyde and Sandra.
Clyde.
And Bradley and Maya. Garden of Crystals is here.
Oh my gosh.
Casey, Mermaid at Heart.
And Boleyn.
Man, how are you guys? We got William Turner is in here. I think he might be still in here. He was in here at 1:30 anyway. Are you still in here, William? Anyway, we got quite a few people on, so I'm sure they're ready for your stories. Sarah's in the house. Sarah Green. Hi, Sarah.
Yes, I saw that. Thank you, Sarah. Good to see you.
And Shiatsen's Hammer. I'm sorry, I'm screwing that up.
What?
And Jenny Fiedler. I don't know how to spell your name. I'm sorry.
Oh, Adrian. I didn't recognize the name Adrian because to me it's Prince Gonzo, and I call him Gonzo all the time. Hello. Thank you for joining. Good to see you.
Poncho's here, and Thor and Sharon are here.
Thor and Sharon. Nice.
Yep. Okay, we better get to a story.
Except I never know who I'm talking to, Thor or Sharon. And I know I've asked that question, and I think it's Thor.
Maybe they should just go Thor and then say what they're going to say, or Sharon and then say what they're going to say. What do you think, guys?
It does say Thor is in the house, so I guess it is Thor.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Thor, for stopping by.
All right, I'm gonna duck on out here and let you do your thing.
All right. So Rick, thank you, Rick, for this story, is an Ohioan, grew up right next to Lake Erie, spent his childhood hunting and fishing and exploring all of the woods. But just like it does for everybody, childhood kind of vanishes and adulthood creeps in. So at the age of 20, he joins the Navy, excuse me, and serves for 30 years. Thank you for your service, including the Gulf War. So really, thank you for your service. Um, and then he spent some time as a law enforcement officer. And by the time that's all done, he's in California. Gets married to a second wife. Life happens along the way. Gets married to a second wife, takes her back to Ohio to show her kind of his childhood stomping grounds. And she falls in love with the place. So they make plans for them both to leave California and move back to Ohio. So in the midst of these plans was Rick is going to load up U-Haul with a bunch of their stuff, head out to Ohio ahead, kind of get stuff ready. The plan is they're going to stay with Rick's sister, who, for the sake of the story, I didn't see an express permission to use her name. So for the sake of the story, we're going to call her Kathy. So the plan is that Rick and his wife are going to stay with Kathy. Kathy's there. She's taking care of her and Rick's dad and her mom, and she's really busy. So Rick is going to go out there, kind of fix up the house, get ready for it to have more people living in it, that kind of a thing. So obviously, Rick has been in the Navy for 30 years. He's been a law enforcement officer. He's not one of those guys who scares very easy. He's also not one of those guys to be messed with, right? He's just a solid guy. So while he was in that 30 years in the Navy, he had opportunities to experience all kinds of stuff. I mean, stuff like living in numerous haunted houses, seeing Bigfoot, seeing UFOs, spending the night in some of the most haunted places like the Winchester Mansion, which I probably should do a video on because that place is amazing. Alcatraz, haunted military hospitals, and the Queen Mary. I mean, that's just a few of them. I had to edit down his list. It was rather large. So let's see. This happened all about 10 years ago from now. And so he gets his stuff out there, goes out to help fix up the house. And he's there not very long. And he decides, you know what, I should buy this house. This is a great house. And everybody's all set with that. But about the same time he makes that decision, he starts getting a creepy vibe in this house. So, and keep in mind, he's been through a lot of stuff. It's not just your normal ghost vibe. This is something different. This is something like dark, But being the rational guy that he is, he goes and gets the carbon monoxide levels checked, and he gets the EMF levels checked. They all come back in normal ranges. So those are the only environmental factors he can think of to test, but they have come all back normal. So it shouldn't be any of those things. And then things start to escalate. Putrid odors, growling from different corners of different rooms in the house. And he has a dog, Onyx, who was a standard schnauzer, and who would constantly bark at things that nobody could see. That is when the handprints started. And so, for a little bit more background, Kathy, his sister, is a hairdresser. So she's gone at work all day. So it's just Rick by himself in the house. And he's just doing, he's got remodeling chores that he's doing. So, I mean, he would get up in the morning, get ready for the day. The bathroom, he would leave the bathroom and it would be perfect. The towels in the bathroom would be perfect. He would go off and do whatever he was doing for the day. And he would come back for lunch and go to the bathroom. And there would be handprints on the towels. And I have pictures of these, which I will show you at the end of the story. So, of course, he blamed Kathy at first. And Kathy's like, I'm gone all day. I'm not even here. How are you blaming me for this? So, okay. They kind of hang with it for a while. And so it gets to the point where he's like, okay, I'm done with what I'm doing. I need to go back to California, grab another load of stuff and come back. But whatever is in this house, so he tells Kathy, there's something in this house. It's not good. And I want you to take care of it before I get back. And she's like, fine, I will have the house smudged and I will sage the house and cleanse it. It'll be fine. So, okay. And then at the same time, all this is happening, he talks to a buddy of his in California who says, hey, why don't I fly out to Ohio, visit for a bit? You can show me around, and then I can drive back to California with you and you have some company. All right, sounds good. So his friend flies out and he doesn't tell his friend anything about the house. Just says, hey, here we go. There you go. There's your guest room. Have at it. The first night, the next morning after the first night, the friend gets up and says, I just feel weird. And I could swear I heard Onyx growling in the middle of the night. And Rick's like, okay. So we're not the only ones experiencing things in this house. So again, without really telling him anything, he shows his friend, they get ready in the morning. They're going to get ready to do some stuff in the basement for the day. And so he shows his friend, okay, I want you to look at the bathroom towels. And his friend is like, okay, looks at the bathroom towels and says they look like towels. They're fine. They're perfect. What? And Rick's just like, all right, just remember that thought. They go down in the basement and they're moving some stuff around from Rick's first load, getting stuff ready. Comes time for lunch. They come back upstairs and he tells his friend, go look in the bathroom, look at the towels. His friend does that, sees that there are handprints in the towels. Again, nobody's in the house but them. Nobody used the bathroom. There are now handprints on the towels. And his friend starts freaking out. What is going on? Rick says, it's okay. It'll be fine. I just wanted somebody else to see this. You'll be out of here in a couple of days. So, and at that point, Rick contacts a paranormal research team from Ohio. Says, you got to come take a look at the house. We need some help. The team says, fine, we'll do that. But it turns out they weren't going to be able to investigate until after he was gone on his trip back to California. So he and his friend head back to California. So at this point, the things that happen for the rest of the story is not from Rick, but from his sister's friends, the investigation team. It's all the information that he gleaned about what happened while he was gone. So the day that Rick left, Kathy cleansed the house with sage and said some prayers, did her best, did what she knew to do to clean out the house. And then a few days later, the paranormal investigation team comes with 5 investigators who are there with Kathy and a couple of her friends. And they set up their command post in the garage. And while they're investigating, during the course of the investigation, like everything was happening. I mean, chairs sliding around, cupboard doors opening and closing, faucets turning on and off. They captured 23 EVPs, or electronic voice phenomena, if anybody's not familiar with EVP, as well as personal experiences like smelling perfume or sulfur, the feeling of being touched by something, hearing those growls in the house. So Kathy tells Rick all of the stuff that happened while he was gone. And Rick says, did you get rid of it? Well, okay, nobody knows. And the only advice that the investigation team had was, don't talk about it. Don't mention it. I'm sure it'll be fine. I know Rick wasn't very comfortable with that. I wouldn't be very comfortable with that. Doesn't give me a whole lot of warm fuzzies about that paranormal team. But okay, that was their advice. Let's see. About 3 days after the investigation, Kathy gets a visit from this psychic friend of hers who doesn't know anything about what's going on in the house. He says that there is a portal or a vortex over the house, and there's something inside the house that he, as a psychic, has never seen before. And he asks Kathy, have you smudged the house recently? And she said, yeah, I just did that a few days ago. He said, well, whatever it is that's in this house actually was following you around and laughing at you as you were doing it, saying, this ain't going to work. So Kathy says, well, what is it? What is it that's in the house? And he says it is a 1,600-year-old troll, about 4 feet tall, super ugly, with a big nose and big hands. And he tells the psychic guy that he has been summoned and that he's not leaving until he is good and ready to do so. So she asked him, well, how did it get here? Who summoned it? And her friend was like, well, who knows? And Kathy's question, and this is not a bad question, was, did somebody put a hex on me? Is this personal to me? And her friend says, no, but who knows? Maybe some, kids were playing around with a Ouija board or something and let it in. Who knows? But it's there and it doesn't want to go anywhere. So, okay, not very helpful again. But a couple of days after that, Kathy has one of her regulars come to get her haircut. And the regular asks, again, they've never had a discussion about Kathy's house. Asks Kathy, do you still have your visitor? And Kathy's thinking that she's talking about Rick. And she's like, no, my brother's gone for a few days. He'll be back in a couple of weeks. And her client said, no, I'm talking about your unwanted visitor. And Kathy's freaking out, going, how did she know that? They've never talked about that. I mean, you talk with clients, but that was kind of a personal thing that she didn't really tell people about. So obviously this lady's got some kind of psychic ability. So she asked the lady, well, okay, obviously you know what's going on. How do you know how I can get rid of it? How do I get rid of this thing? And the woman says, what you need to do is you need to give it an eviction notice. You need to tell it has 3 days to vacate. You do not belong here. You are not wanted here. You need to get out. And okay, if that doesn't work, you need to, I want to make sure I get this right. You need to, and of course, after 3 days, that didn't work. So then the second bit was to go all around the house calling for the help of Saint Michael to rid you of this being while envisioning a blue light. So that's what Kathy did. She gave him the 3 days. It wasn't gone yet. She went around the house calling on the intercession of Saint Michael for help, envisioning the blue light, and it worked. It worked. So since then, they haven't had, or Rick, I should say, who ended up buying the house, because whatever it was, that evil presence was gone. Now, Rick says that they've had a few things happen since then that don't have any explanation. Maybe the regular ghosts that he knew were there but weren't a problem. Maybe they're still there, but they're not a problem. He's not afraid of those. It's just that dark entity that he didn't want in his home, and that is gone. So that's my story from Rick. Thank you, Rick, so much. That is just such an awesome story. I love that. All right. What do we got going on, Mr. InBetween?
Well, we have a new member, Steven Valencia.
Steven Valencia, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
I decided to go over to, let's see if there's anything in the starred starred comments, and yep, there it was. So thank you, Stephen. That's awesome. Just one step closer to being able to do this full time.
Thank you. Yes.
Did you get through all your slides that you wanted to on there? Because I saw that it wasn't up there.
Oh my gosh, I forgot the slides.
So I popped the slides up. Why don't you go through those so you can just kind of let people know what these are? Oh,
that's right. You did. I did see you throw them up. I was going to do them at the end of the story, but then I forgot all about them. So
well, now you can do it.
So here are the towels. Here's Rick's proof of what he would see every day. These are the handprints in the towels. I didn't use every picture, but you can see the fingers in these things. It's crazy. Look at that. That is amazing to me. And why? It just sounds so funny, but why? Let's just call this thing a demon. Well, I guess it was a troll. Okay, so why would this 1,600-year-old troll, why would it choose to make itself known by putting handprints in a towel? That's just such an odd thing. But I guess luckily for us, it did, because look at that.
Yeah, Rick's wondering if you got the other pics.
No. Other pics? What other pics? Oh, I'm so bummed. I was looking at the email this morning and I saw Rick was kind enough to show me the his text where he was asking his sister if she had the CD of the EVPs that they had gotten, and she said no. And he had also texted the investigation team, and they said that they would check on it, but he hadn't heard back from them. So that was the last that I saw. Oh, Rick, I'm so sorry if you had more. I don't know. Did I miss him or did I not get him? I don't know. I'm so sorry. This, I think, is the last of my towel slides. Oh, Rick, what was in the pictures? What are we missing? Tell me.
Well, if he tells you, I'll throw it up on the thing here. So
I wonder if I should go back and look. Hold tight. I'm going to look at the email again and see if maybe I just missed something that I can throw up here really quick. Rick, I just see your email that you just sent asking if it was YouTube.
Oh, he says just those.
Oh, okay. So it was just the towels. Okay. All right. So I didn't miss anything. Good.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you guys so much. Yay. And Celeste says, great story, Rick. Thank you for sharing. It's awesome.
And here's a comment from John Pullman.
Oh, I can't read the beginning. Oh, this is one of the podcasts that I listen to on the regular, What Lurks Beneath and the Truth by How to Hunt.
Yeah, How to Hunt is a channel that I believe.
I think I've watched some videos on that channel before. That sounds kind of familiar. Obviously, What Lurks Beneath is a good friend of the channel. I love Josh. I want to say I've seen videos by How to Hunt. I think so. That's cool. But thank you for watching ours too. Yay. Love it.
And Carol follows up with those and Planet 412 and the Y-Files. we're with you guys on all these.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, in fact, I was watching the latest Y-Files podcast on what was it? I'm not going to say this right. The Pascagoula incident. Their latest video. I was just watching that as I was getting ready for today. I love those guys. Planet 412. Matt's always going to have a special place in my heart. He's pretty awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Rick, she was, that was up there for so long because she didn't realize it was up and she forgot about him.
So I was engrossed.
It's all good. It's all good.
Story.
She was telling her story. She was doing the thing.
I was doing the thing. Yes. I mean, I see things flashing on the side of me, but if I'm not careful, even when I am careful, I lose my place. And I don't want to do that. So, Paranormal Roundtable. Lunar Eclipse says Paranormal Roundtable. Yep, they're pretty good too. Mm-hmm. There's so many good ones out there. And sadly enough, I do not have the time to go and watch all of the good videos and all of the good channels that are out there, because I know there's some really great ones out there. Oh, and Rick says he has more if you ever want to hear them. I'll be in touch, Rick. We always like more stories. We always do. So, well, I'll just tell you right now. Go ahead and write them up and send them on in, and we'll see what we got. That sounds great. Fabulous. Well, yeah, especially when I read through Rick's history, like some of the most haunted places this guy's been to and stayed overnight, and holy cow, I don't even want anything to happen. I don't even want to go to a place where something could happen, because that would just change my whole worldview. I almost think that Rick is lucky in the sense that he's had these things happening to him since he was a kid. So he got used to it. So it's not paradigm changing to him as it would be to me, So he can like just tell these stories like, these are the things that happen. Or, go into a haunted military hospital and not think twice about it, because what's going to happen? But he did say that he had some scary things happen to him. So I am assuming that those are the stories that we're going to hear about next. I hope. All right. Wartime stories. Oh, Marty. Wartime stories is actually one of my favorites. I don't know what it is about the way that guy tells the story. Maybe it's because he's so straight and
yeah, he
flat.
does a amazing job.
Oh, he does a hugely amazing job. It's wonderful. Jenny says, I'm subscribed to the Y-Files, the facts by how to hunt and what lurks beneath. Glad to see him in such good company. Yes, absolutely. All right. Let's go on to the second one, because the second one's kind of a slightly long as well. Not as long as Rick's, but it's there. So the second one, let me take a drink quick, as my pop can is just dripping from the humidity.
Here, I'm taking down your pictures here, Rick.
Thank you. Okay, so this next story comes from Cameroon. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to put that back up for just a second, because that is Mount Cameroon, which I had no idea what it looked like, but that is a pretty impressive looking mountain. That is the mountain that our next story is where it takes place. So the story comes from, it's actually about a set of twins. And they asked me to not use their names. So I'm going to call them Kofi and Kwame. They are twin men. And right now they're 24 years old. And the first part of the story takes place when they are 13 years old. They and their whole extended family all live together in a city at the base of that mountain, which I think is just incredible looking. So you can see, not only is the mountain just kind of like, wow, but you can also see, I love this picture, because you can see the canopy of trees that's around it, which kind of plays into this story a little bit. So Coffee says he's always been interested in the supernatural. And so his whole family lives all in one house at the base of the mountain. And so quite often they, maybe not the entire family, but as many people as they can on the weekends, on Saturdays and stuff, they would go hike up the mountain. It was kind of their family thing to do, to stay united as a family. And so it is whatever path that they were taking, it was a 2-hour hike to the top. They would hang out at the top for about 3 hours. I'm not saying to the top of the mountain, but to the top of whatever path they're on. They'd hang out there for about 3 hours, taking in nature, doing whatever. And then it would be another 2-hour hike back down to home. So, like I said, the first of the encounters, the two boys are only 13 years old. And they were up there and they just didn't, they're 13-year-old boys. They don't feel like hanging around with the family for the next 3 hours. So they're up there for about an hour, and then they ask, can we just go home? And their family members are like, I don't know. That's really a long way for you guys to hike up by yourself. You're only 13. And they're like, we're 13. I think we can do this. It's pretty much a straight shot down. There's no path that they have to take that they can get lost from. So finally their family gives in and says, okay, fine. You guys head down, but just go straight down the mountain. Don't do anything different. Just go straight home. They said, okay, no problem. So they are about halfway down, and the full path is about 3 feet wide. And the path itself kind of gets a little bit of sun, but that canopy is so thick, those trees are so thick that on either side of the path, it's just nothing but shadows because the sun just cannot get through that canopy. And then from the ground, there's a whole bunch of brush as well underneath that canopy of trees. So they're going down, they're about halfway down. They get to the spot where 3 paths, so the path that they're on, as well as 2 other paths, they all converge to this one path that goes straight down the mountain. So they don't have to take a different path. They're just being joined by these other paths to go straight down the mountain. So they get to that spot, and I only say it because that's a pretty memorable spot. So they get to that spot, and everything goes silent. Now, you can imagine looking at those trees, looking at that mountain, there's lots of nature sounds. And those sounds in the middle of the day go completely quiet. So the 2 boys look at each other like, what the heck is going on? When they hear a growl coming from about 6 feet off to the side. And the boys freeze. They don't know what the heck this is. They don't really have dogs in the area. They have gorillas and chimps, but the gorillas and the chimps are miles back into the wild from there. So there's no wildlife. I mean, there's wildlife there, but there's nothing that's going to make a growling sound, is the point. So they hear this growl, they freak out, drop their camping gear, and they both just bolt down the path until they get home. I mean, they just run full out for the next hour and a half. Well, probably not that long if they're running that fast. They just get home. Once they get home, there's people home, and they tell them what happened, but nobody believes them. And then when the rest of the family gets home, they found all of their camping gear or their climbing gear on the path. Their family thinks that they've been abducted or something because there's just there's stuff there on the path. So when they get home and find out that the boys are home, they are like super relieved. And again, the boys tell them what happened. They don't believe them either. So nobody believes these poor little kids as to what happened, that something is out on that path that they had to run away from. But okay. So Coffee says it takes him like a good 4 months before he and his brother can even bring themselves to go back on those family trips. And even when they do, they never do it alone. They always make sure that somebody is with them. But like often happens with the passage of time, 5 years go by. The twin boys are now 18 years old. We're feeling, they kind of that kind of, the memory fades, the fear fades sometimes. In this case, it did. The boys are now 18. They're feeling pretty good about themselves as being 18-year-olds. They make the family trip again. They go up, and same thing happens. They're at the top. They're like, oh, we don't want to be here anymore. We're going back down. So the family says, fine, go back down. Just go straight home. Same thing as before. So they do that. They're heading down the path, and they get to that same spot. They get to that same spot where the 3 paths all converge into one. And again, everything goes silent. And they know this is not normal. I mean, they are freaked out. This just doesn't happen. So this time, Kwame says to Kofi, "Did you hear that?" Kofi says, "No, I didn't hear anything." Kwame says, "I heard something growling." And they walk for a few more feet. And Kofi can see that Kwame's face has gone totally pale. He obviously has heard something that has scared the living daylights out of him. At first, they're thinking, they look out and they don't see anything. But so they think maybe it's a wild boar. And so now they're 18. They're thinking they're pretty tough guys. They both start yelling and screaming. If it's a boar, they can scare it away. But it's not a boar. Nothing move, or they don't hear a boar running off into the woods. However, what they see is something in the brush standing up instead. And it stands up. The bush that I was telling you about stands at about 7 feet tall. That's how high the brush is underneath those trees. 7 feet tall. They see something stand up that goes up over the brush. So Kofi estimates this thing was 9 feet tall. It's not a gorilla. It's not a chimp. Nothing like that is 9 feet tall, even when it stands on two legs. So it's standing up. It's towering over the brush. And Kofi says that it looked kind of like it was camouflaged, like it in itself was shadowy in such a way that it kind of blended in with the shadows that the bushes made. However, it had red glowing eyes. So obviously not a boar, not a gorilla, not a chimpanzee. And Kofi says that he felt when they looked at those eyes, it felt like it knew them from the last time. Like it recognized them. And almost like it was testing them. Although he didn't go on to explain exactly what that means. But he says it felt like it was recognizing them and that it was testing them. So the boys are just like absolutely frozen in fear. And this thing actually takes a couple steps toward them till it's like 3 feet away from them. And so Kofi says he could see that well, first of all, it's looking down on them like they're pets. Like we would look down on our dogs or on our cats. We were just kind of playthings. And like it knew that it was the top of the food chain and we are not. That was the look and the feeling that he got from this thing as it's standing 3 feet away, towering. I mean, the boys are 6 feet tall and this thing is 9. So it's completely towering over them. So he said it had 1 inch thick fur covering the top part of its body. It had broad shoulders with a muscular build like a linebacker. Had a long snout like a shepherd, but its ears were not at the top, but rather they were kind of pointing out from the side. And it didn't bare its teeth, but you could see fangs poking out of the sides. And you couldn't see the bottom half because it was still kind of in the brush. And he was very specific to say that it had an intelligence about it, that whatever this thing is was not just an animal. It was not just a stupid creature. This thing had intelligence. So it then lets out a growl that totally vibrates all through Kofi's body. And it was like, he said it was like he couldn't stop staring at its eyes. Like they were like both the boys were in this trance. They were still just staring at this thing's eyes. However, once it growled and that growl reverberated through Kofi's body, he kind of snapped out of it and he yells to his brother, "Run!" And he takes off down the path. And he only gets like 25 feet before he realizes he doesn't hear his brother's footsteps. His brother is not with him. So he stops and he looks around and his brother, Kwame, is still on the path looking at this thing in the eyes. He hasn't moved. He's still entranced by this thing. And it's his twin brother. So in an attempt to get his twin brother moving, he yells with everything that he has, run! And evidently, whatever, it was enough that it got Kwame. Kwame kind of snapped out of it, looked at his brother, and started running. So Kwame was actually the faster of the two boys. So they both take off. It doesn't take Kwame long to catch up to Kofi, and the two of them just take off, again, dropping all of their hiking gear, and just take off and run to home. Their legs were burned, their chest was heaving, but neither one of them wanted to stop for anything until they got home. And they get home, and their older brother is there, and he's like, what is up with you guys? So they tell their older brother, and again, their older brother doesn't believe them, which I just can't imagine going through something like that and then telling somebody and then have them not believe you. That's just so heartbreaking. But the interesting thing about this story is that after some time goes by, Kofi asks Kwame, why didn't you run? When I told you to run the first time, why didn't you run that first time? And Kwame said, because I knew I was the faster runner. And if I took off running with you, I would get ahead of you. And then I didn't want you to be taken by whatever this thing is. So I didn't run because I wanted to give you a head start to make sure you were okay. Oh, I just love that. That is so cool. I mean, that's like real brotherhood right there. I love it. So just to wrap it up, Kofi says he believes that they have been marked by this thing. They have gone back up there over time, but not very often, and certainly not alone. He wants people to know that these things are out there everywhere, and that they are not afraid of anyone or anything. And he's hoping that by telling the story, hopefully he'll influence somebody and maybe even save somebody else's life someday. That is the story of Kofi and Kwame. Oh, good Dogman stories. Dogman in Africa. That's crazy. They are everywhere. I mean, there are Dogman stories from everywhere. It's crazy. I don't know. Because I don't know what these things are. So how can, I don't know. I mean, so I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that they're everywhere. But
yeah, about every week or two, we hear from people telling their either experiences or that they've read about somebody that saw them over here, over there. It's crazy.
Yep, exactly.
Crazy.
Oh.
So what do you guys think? I'm trying to think of different things that we can do for members in our space here, to get more people to think, about becoming a member. Because I know right now we're not, we're so busy that we don't have very much to offer members yet. But so we're trying to think of, maybe we should have a members only live stream, or something like that. So like maybe like after a video comes out or something, then like, because I know the Y-Files does something like that. They'll have the after files.
They do a great job.
Well, that is a great idea. I mean, I'm not below, trying to use somebody else's good idea. It's like, well, if it's a good idea, it's a good idea. So
it's a good idea.
We wouldn't call it the after files, but but yeah, I mean, just about after another live stream or something, or maybe even like every other week we do just a members only live stream where you can all just kind of hang out, and we're it's going to be like it'd probably be a few less people, and you'll be able to just, actually talk back and forth, and rather than just kind of like answering a comment here and there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do
Yeah.
you think? You know what? I'm going to put up a poll in the chat here.
Okay.
I found out I can do that kind of a thing. So
cool.
while I'm doing that, you can just go ahead and look through all the comments and see if there's anything you want to talk about.
Well, first of all, John Pullman says that Toto's Africa song supposedly is about a werewolf. I did not know that. And I think that song popped into my head as soon as I saw that picture of the mountain. Of course, child of the 80s, that song is going to pop into my head. But now I'm going to have to go back and listen to it with that in mind, from that frame of mind, and see. And it'll be like a whole new experience. I'll have to do that. Oh yeah, getting back to the live streams for members. I know that the Y-Files does it in such a way that not only can you see me, but I can see you. Your cameras, I mean, if you choose, you can put your cameras on. We can have two-way conversations, and I can actually like meet you guys for reals instead of just being, a little circle avatar that I can hardly ever see most of the time. So that's kind of what we're thinking of, doing something like that. I think we're also looking at, in fact, we've actually started production of having some videos be members only videos. So you guys can get, I mean, obviously, for those who are members, we're trying to get you some value for your membership. We haven't done a great job so far. So my hugest thank yous to all of you who've been members for a while for hanging in there and supporting us, even though you haven't gotten a whole lot for your money, but we're doing our best. So we're going to try to get some members only videos going. They're not going to be long ones because it's everything I can do just to get one video out per week. So they're going to be smaller ones, at least at first, until that time we can kind of get things rolling a little bit, but something for you guys to make it more of a special experience. So, but yeah, which means that the live streams for members only would be good, because that is obviously not as time intensive, and in some ways probably a lot more fun. So there we go. Laughing Dog says Dogman stories are among my favorites. I know there's some of mine too. I mean, I like all of it, which is why I do this channel with all of it. But there is something about Dogman stories that's kind of cool. Philip Nunez. Let's see. My trying to read this at the same time here, Philip. My friend grew up just outside of Detroit. Her family is not into the paranormal at all. She once told me that her mom saw a big dog stand up and walk around in their backyard just on the wood line. There are so many people who they don't have a story. They don't have a big experience, but they've seen it. They just have a glimpse, and it's enough of a glimpse to be able to say, that was not a bear. That was not anything that, everybody's going to tell me that it was. It was a dog that stood up on two legs. It just makes it really difficult to believe that they're not real, because there's so many of those stories. I mean, that's kind of where I am with Bigfoot at the moment. Kind of leaning toward the fact that Bigfoot is real, just based on the sheer volume of people who have had sightings. There's just so many. They can't all be fake. They just can't. And that's kind of where I'm coming up with Dogman too, because there are just more and more people who are getting the courage that they didn't have before to put their hand up and say, you know what? I saw it too. And there's so many people that are like that now, which I think is awesome. Everybody should be able to do that. Oh, and then Philip part 2. I then told her about the Dogman. She had no idea what I was referring to, but she told me that is exactly what her mom had seen. Absolutely. That's just crazy. Edward says, have you considered Skype? I don't know how they do, if it's Zoom, Zoom or Skype or that kind of a thing, or if it's something. I mean, we're using StreamYard to do this stream right now. So if there is something that can be done within StreamYard, I don't know. So we have yet to figure that out before we can roll that out. But we plan on figuring it out. Let's see. Wow, there's so many here. Okay. Yes, Mermaid at Heart, Bigfoot, and Dogman are definitely real. I think so. I mean, I try to remain skeptical because I know that there are people out there who just, I don't know, they just need their 15 minutes of fame, whatever that looks like. And I get it, but there's just too many. There's too many for it all to be that. Okay. I am going to head into, we're an hour in already, and I only have 2 stories left. I have 2 more stories. They're shorter stories, but I still have 2 more. So I'm going to head into the third story, which, let's see.
Well, and right now, just so you know,
Yeah.
our poll is at our heck yeah is winning at 71%, 73%.
Can I see this poll?
Over on YouTube, you could.
Oh, it's on YouTube? I thought you were putting it up in here.
No, I can't put it up in here. I can only put it up on YouTube.
Okay, so what exactly is the poll? What does it say?
What did I put it?
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, you did, because I can't actually see what I put here for the poll at the point. But basically, it was just asking if we should do some members only live streams.
Okay.
As well. Kind of like after we do something else, and 75% say heck yeah. The other choices
Those are all the members.
The other choices were nah and 42. 46 or 76% heck yeah.
All right. I mean, I have to admit that I would have been really surprised if I will be really surprised if the poll turns out any other way other than the vast majority saying heck yeah.
Well, and just in case, I wanted to let people know that also that we're still going to keep our regular stuff isn't going away or changing.
Correct.
We would always have that, where this is just on top of, so that hopefully we don't have to work as many hours outside of the home, and we can bring more content to you guys.
Yeah. Yep.
So the more members we have, the more independent we can be to do this for you guys even more. So that's our goal.
So far, I've been able to reduce my hours at work just from the support that we've gotten from our members and from YouTube AdSense. I've been able to shave off a few hours. But the more members that we get, the bigger the channel gets, the more I'll be able to shave off more hours and be able to spend more time actually working on stuff. So
yeah, and we really want to bring at least like 2 things a week. Yeah. And then I also still need to get my Mr. InBetween channel going. Yes. So we can work back and forth and even do like an intercollaboratory thing. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh my gosh. You and I collabing together?
I know, right?
Yeah, but my stories are true.
Yeah, mine aren't gonna be true, but they're cool.
They're gonna be cool, but they're gonna be creepypasta.
Kind of.
So I don't know. That'll be interesting.
I'm throwing some real stuff in there too, but it's just it's an ongoing kind of like, you know how the X-Files has, it's kind of an X-Files sort of thing. So I would have kind of mix in folklore and stuff that everybody really knows about into the storyline. And then sometimes we'll have like an off story that has nothing to do with the whole backstory. But yeah, it's there's a story that keeps on going throughout the process, and there's clues in the stories so that you can, if you watch enough of the stories, you'll be able to piece together what's actually happening in the background. It's kind of cool. I think.
Yes.
I mean, well, it's up to the people who actually watch in the end to see if it's really actually truly cool.
True.
But I'm trying to make it super cool.
True.
But
the
I
way
don't
that
have
you
time.
have it
I
set
have
up.
no time to do this at the moment. So this is on the back burner until we are free to do stuff. So
Yeah. So look for that. Well, we'll let you know then when that happens. But yeah, the way that he
Sarah
set it
says,
up.
I
So
gotta say this, Sarah, you're awesome. Mr. In
what?
Between, you can never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Very true.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Well, and the way that you're setting it up so that stories are all going to be linked and feeding into one another and feeding into a whole central thing is really cool. So
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see that roll out whenever that may be.
Yeah, because that guy that you see on the screen right there, that is Silas Echo. He's an MIB. He's an MIB who's been working for the other side, but stuff happened to him specifically, and now he's uh, let's say working kind of for the humans now, but he's still an MIB, but he's kind of just leaking out these stories so that people understand what's really going on. So I don't know. I hope everybody likes it when we get to that. I don't know if that's even going to happen, until next year. So
We'll see.
we'll see.
I don't know, but it's a cool story the way that he's got it all laid out. It's very cool. And Philip says X-Files rules.
Heck yeah.
I'm into it already.
Right on.
I love that. And I also just want to look. I know I promised Mr. In Between I was going to let him drive the show, but I see a couple things that he probably didn't see.
Yeah, go ahead right now.
Philip says, do you think that In Between would ever consider producing or writing a paranormal movie down the road? If you came to that bridge, do you think that you might cross it? Somebody comes to me and says, we want you to write a movie.
If we got a team behind us that knows how to do all that stuff and keep it all together, that would be amazing.
Sure. That would be really cool.
We are always open to new cool things.
Yeah. I mean, my whole career has been in media in some way, shape, or form, music or film or whatever. And so, yeah, the idea of doing a film, wow, would that be cool? That would be awesome. Let's see. Rutger HK. Just found your channel a couple of weeks ago, but you are by far my favorite storyteller ever. Thank you, Ruger. I believe these stories and you make them easy to understand and retain. Thank you and much love. Thank you, Ruger. I do my best. Absolutely. Awesome. Okay. Okay, let's get into the third story. Does that sound good, Mr. In Between?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so the third story comes from Calgary. Happened probably, near as I can figure from the timeline that she gave me, happened probably 3 to 4 years ago. And I'm not sure if I can use her name, so I'm going to call her Carrie. Just to be safe. I don't want to out anybody that doesn't want to be outed. So one night, it's summer in Calgary, and Carrie can't sleep. So she heads out. She's in a condo, but she's got she's got a balcony. So she heads out to her balcony to have a smoke because she can't sleep. And she's just out there kind of taking in the nice, warm night air. And she looks across the street at the condos across the street, and she sees something on the roof that it's kind of gray, and it looks like a chimney. Okay, building across the street has a chimney, except she can't remember ever seeing a chimney on that building before, at least not in that spot. She doesn't remember ever seeing it before. So she's trying to think of, kind of racking her brain. Has it always been there? And I just never noticed. And then it moves. So she could see arms and legs and a head, and it's about 5 feet tall. And then it looks at her, and she can tell that it knows that she is looking at it. You can tell that from across the street. So she freaks out and she scrambles inside of her condo. She trips on something, falls, hears the bone in her foot crack as it breaks, but she is so freaked out that she still scrambles around her condo, shutting and locking all of the windows and dropping all of the blinds. She is just super freaked out. She goes into her bedroom and she sits on the floor with her back against the door, so hopefully nothing can get in. And she's just freaking. And what I'm assuming is after that adrenaline crash, she eventually falls asleep. She wakes up in the morning to see light poking in underneath her blinds. And she gets up, and the searing pain in her foot is her reminder of what happened the night before. That was not a dream. She actually did break her foot, scrambling in from the deck to get away from whatever that thing was. So she gets up and she hobbles back over to look out the windows of her deck to look across at that building across the street. And sure enough, no chimney. Whatever that was that she saw was not a chimney on the building that she just thought she saw move. There's now nothing there. So she's freaked out about it. She can't get it out of her mind. She looks up other cryptids, but she cannot find another cryptid that looks like what it is that she saw, which I find is really interesting because just the way that she described it as being arms and legs and a head and gray. And if you think about a chimney on a building, just if it's just kind of sitting there in kind of a stack, it almost seems like when it moves that it would be something like an alien for sure, or like a rake or something like that. But she says that's not what she saw. So now she says she can't go out at night. She's too freaked out to go out at night. But she can't get it out of her head. So then a week after that, one night she is in bed watching TV and she can see out into the hallway and all the way into the kitchen from her bed. And her condo, it's important to know, has super high ceilings and super tall doorways. So she's watching TV, no big deal. Her cat that's laying on the bed wakes up and starts hissing at something in the doorway. So she takes a look and she can see a head and a shoulder peeking around the top of the doorway. So she freaks out, turns the light on, and of course, there's nothing there. But she's looking up and she's thinking in her head, whatever that head and shoulder was at the top of the doorway. Nobody's that tall. She's got like 8-foot doors or something. And this was at the top. So it wasn't a person because people aren't that tall. And as opposed to the first thing that she saw, she knows immediately what this thing is. This is a shadow man. And she's now like super freaked out. She's not a religious person. She doesn't know how to pray. She has no clue. But she, at that point, invokes the name of Jesus and says, help me with this. And the next morning, she calls everybody that she knows is religious, including her dad and some friends of hers, and says, pray for me, please. Tells them what happens. Says, pray for me, please, that this thing does not come back. Somebody actually comes that day and gives her a crucifix and some holy water so she can protect herself. And thankfully, it never shows up again. That's the only time that she's ever seen it. But the question is, are those two things related? She'd never experienced anything like either of those two things before. And they both happened within a week of each other, and nothing has happened since then. So are those two things related? Which is weird because they seem kind of totally disparate things from one another. But it also seems like a little too coincidental for them not to be related somehow. So she has moved since then, and she doesn't look out her windows at night anymore. And she always leaves the hall light on. And after all these years since then, she is still afraid. I don't know. What do you guys think? Can things that are so different from one another, do we think that they're the same thing? They happen within a week of one another, and nothing has ever happened before, and nothing has ever happened since. How does that work? I don't know. So, Christina, I'm going to Dixiano. Is that right? I am so sorry if I said that wrong, but Christina is a new YouTube member. Thank you so much. You guys don't, I don't know. I know I can say it again and again, but you guys don't know how much that means to us. And I promise we will be doing our best, and we are doing our best to deliver as much extra value to you guys as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you, Christina. Okay, so what did you guys think of that story? Some Mermaid at Heart says they can definitely be related. Sometimes it isn't just a coincidence. I know I've heard people say that they don't believe in coincidences. So it's never a coincidence, which I can see that point too.
Here, Celeste has a question for us. I think this is because mainly Celeste. I think it's because we don't have. She says, "Why no captions? Find Americans talk too fast, and with some of the accents can't understand." I'm sorry. We
so
do kind of talk
sorry.
fast sometimes. The thing is that with these lives, it can't really catch up with captions.
Right.
We try to have captions on all of our actual videos, though. We go through and I make sure that we have captions for our videos. So we do add them into our videos.
Yes.
If that's helpful.
Yes. Yes. And we take extra time to make sure that those captions are correct. Unlike a lot of extra other channels that I see who just roll with whatever captions happen to come up, they just let it go. But we actually go back and make sure that all of the captions are correct. But
yeah, we've had some crazy caption faults.
Yeah.
Where some captions have said things that is very not like what we've said.
Yeah, like it's like bad spell check. Yeah, you got to be careful. But
and Clyde here has also
hang on.
become a member.
Oh, Clyde, hang on just a second. I just want to go back to Celeste for just a second. The reason that I talk so fast is because I'm nervous. That is the God's honest truth. I am so nervous that this is not going to be entertaining, or I'm going to say something wrong, or the story's not going to come out, or whatever it is, that I just tend to talk really fast because I'm nervous. So I am so sorry, and I will do my best to just deep breath and slow down, and it's okay. I have to remember that I am among friends. That's just really hard to do. So sorry, Celeste. I'll do my best. Clyde Mobley Jr. is a new member. Thank you, Clyde. Thank you so
Clyde.
much. Oh my gosh. Now the pressure's really on to get things of value to all of our members. Oh.
Yep. And Christina says you said her name right.
Oh, I did. Yay. Okay, good.
We love you too, Christina. Thank you for the support, really.
Dixiano. That's an interesting name. Is that Spanish or is it Italian? That's an interesting name. I like it. Dixiano. There's just something just rolls off the tongue very nicely. I'm putting one up, Mr. InBetween.
Okay.
Sarah wants to know, could her house or condo be next to a portal or spirit highway? She might have had entities peeking in on her without her realizing or picking up on it. That is an interesting idea. I'm sure you guys have heard of Skinwalker Ranch and all of the crazy things that happen out there and the diversity of things that happen out there, that I think that is a portal that allows all those different things to come through. So maybe that is the case. Maybe it is a portal kind of thing where different things are popping out at different times. That's very interesting. In which case, I'm sure she's happy that she moved. And if it were me, I would have moved too. In a heartbeat. Edward says, "You're doing great, Carol Ann. Thank you. Thank you, Edward." Oh, now Bradley says that my pacing is impeccable and it's not too fast. I appreciate that. I'll have to just kind of chill. Maybe it's just if I chill a little bit, I'll slow down just enough that it's still like regular, but slow enough that Celeste can understand without needing subtitles. I don't know. All right. We have one more. We have one more story.
Right on.
This one's really short, though. But it was just so cool. I just had to do it. This is a BEK story. Yay!
All righty.
Yes, this comes from Joey, who just dropped this little nugget in the comments, which is actually quite common. People drop little nuggets in the comments quite often. It's interesting. So this happened May of 2018. He says he's in his house. The only people in the house are him and his girlfriend. And he gets up in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning. His girlfriend is still sleeping and he's thirsty. So he kind of shuffles his way into the kitchen to get a glass of water. And he's standing there at the sink. He turns on the water, lets it run for a little bit to get the nice cold water going. And as he's standing there waiting for the cold water to show up, he hears a voice that says, "Look back." Well, he's a little startled and confused by that. Nobody else is in the house. It's just him and his girlfriend, and she's sleeping. He knows that. And so he just kind of starts thinking, wow, that was a really loud thought that I just had. I don't remember. I usually don't think that loudly. Maybe it's because I'm still kind of half asleep or whatever. But so he just, okay, there was a thought. And so now I lost my place. So he's standing there, getting his glass. And then another, he hears again, "Look back at me." And he was like, "Well, okay." So this time he looks back over his shoulder to see like 5 feet from him where the stairs come up from the basement. He sees a figure crawling up the stairs that looks exactly like him. And both he and the other he both are shocked to see one another. And he said it lasted about 4 seconds, and he blinks, and this thing is gone. And he stood there for like 5 minutes, totally frozen in shock, trying to figure out what it was. And he never did figure it out, but he still thinks about it every day. And I'm sorry, I know I said it was a BEK story. It's not a BEK story. It's a doppelganger story. That's my thing. It's a doppelganger story. But can you imagine turning around? It's okay. I'm not very good in the morning anyway. So if I'm like wandering into the kitchen at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm only half there. Get a glass of water, hearing somebody talk into your ear, look around, turn around and see 5 feet from you, see yourself crawling up the stairs from downstairs. That is just, it's one thing. We've heard doppelganger stories of, I passed my doppelganger on the street as I'm walking, or, people see it, or they come home and their family says, "I thought you came home 15 minutes ago. What's going on?" I've heard those stories plenty of times, but to see yourself crawling up the stairs, just seems so terrifying that, oh, I just had to tell you the story because it to me is terrifying. I don't know. I don't know. Has anybody had any I don't hear about doppelgangers quite as much as I do say, BEK and Dogman and stuff like that. There are stories out there, but have you guys had any other doppelganger stories? I don't know. Freaks me out. Oh, Prepper Princess! Yay, Prepper Princess! Thank you for being in the house. Prepper Princess is awesome. Not only, okay, so if you guys are looking to simplify your life, get a grip on your finances, and with like, I don't know, what have we had? 25% inflation over the last year or two. That's getting a little tough to handle, and you're trying to get a better handle on your budget because groceries are up 25%, but your paycheck's not. Head on over to Prepper Princess. That's what her channel is all about. It is all about living on, I don't want to say next to nothing, but it's kind of next to nothing, on living on the lowest budget that you can and getting yourself into a better financial place, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe
and different, very creative ways to support yourself if the hits the fan as well.
Yes, absolutely. So if that sounds like something that is of interest to you, head on over to her channel. It's phenomenal. I have watched several videos.
Yeah, after this live stream. Don't do it now.
Don't do it now.
Sorry, Pepper Princess, but
I am sure she will understand. Yay, Catkins! Catkins is in the house. Good to see you. Oh my goodness. All right, I got it. I'm putting up another one, Mr. InBetween.
All right.
At least I'll tell you this time. Marty says BEKs are right up there with clowns and dolls in my weebie-jeebie scale. I am with you on that one. Although I have to say I think clowns and dolls are a little higher on my weebie-jeebie scale, but
yeah, and when it comes to, I gotta say, I gotta out your stuff here. Carol Ann's mom has like these life-size creepy dolls that of all her grandchildren. It is the creepiest thing ever, and they like look real and empty. Like you know what it is about dolls. It's like they're human-like, but they're so empty, and these things just like creep you out. And if you're in the house and if the house is quiet or something, and you just happen to be in the room that they're in, oh, that's just creepy stuff right there. What is it with these dolls? I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, my mom is fab. My parents are fabulous. I love my parents, and my mom is just this. She's just a mom. Nothing weird has ever happened to anybody in my family. Well, I shouldn't say that, but my brother saw a ghost. There's a couple of weird things, but certainly nothing weird has ever happened to them. They're about as milk toast as you can get. I mean, they're just salt of the earth, whatever, common sense. She's just a mom. But that's her hobby, is collecting dolls. And she's done it almost my entire life. And when she started having grandchildren, she ordered these dolls that you can mold and specifically order to look like a person. So she got these dolls that look like my nieces and nephews.
It's even gets creepier.
And it's not just, I mean, my brothers and sisters will tell you the same thing, that they're just creepy looking. But she's just like, oh no, I think they're cute. She loves her dolls. She thinks they're the cutest thing in the world.
All the best for her, but
man, have at it, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
More power to you. I'm just not bringing those things into my house.
That's for sure. And Clyde, our new member here, says, I'm washing dishes and listening to a real good channel. Keep up the good work. Love you all.
I am glad I can make the housework a little bit more bearable. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And Celeste, great storytelling as ever, Carol Ann. You're the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome.
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 I still can't get used to this whole being a storyteller thing. It's just never been on my radar. I just don't, weird. Okay, what is I've seen who is this?
Mermaid at Heart says, I've seen some of your stuff, Prepper Princess. I do minor prepping. Great. That's awesome.
Nice. Good to know. There actually could be people in her who are already Prepper Princess people, because a few months ago she did us a solid without even us knowing who she was, and she told her people, hey, if you like scary stories, head on over to this channel and tell her Prepper Princess sent you. And so all of a sudden I started getting all of these comments in our feed saying, hey, Prepper Princess sent me. Prepper Princess sent me. And I'm like, who is Prepper Princess? And so I went and I looked back and I found the post that she had put up. And it was just a post on her feed, not in a video or anything, just a post on her feed that said, hey, go check her out. She has no idea who I am, but check her out. She does a good job. And so we ended up getting a lot of people coming on over just because of that one tiny little post mention. And so I will forever be grateful for that. So there's a good chance that there are people here who've been in her feed longer than they've been in ours, which is awesome. So thank you again for that. That was wonderful.
And
Jenny
here
Fiedler.
we go.
Dolls creep my sister out, but I've always loved them, mostly because my imagination makes them real. As a cartoonist, making people is my thing. Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously not everybody gets creeped out by dolls, because if they did, there wouldn't be such a big market for buying dolls, because that market is pretty big, So I suppose if your eye is as a cartoonist and you look at something and kind of see how it can be, kind of thing, I could see that happen. That's pretty interesting. All right. Ruger is a new member.
Hey, we got to get some. I got to get some
phenomenal.
buttons up out here to start getting some celebratory background.
Yes.
Animations and stuff. I don't know how to do that yet.
I don't know, but we need to step up our game here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Especially after watching the Y-Files do it. The
Y
Y-Files streams are so fun to watch. They're just entertaining in and of themselves. They're awesome. And they got Bigfoot walking. I cannot figure out how they can get Bigfoot walking across the screen. If anybody knows how to do that, let me know. But I got to figure that out.
We've got some more back here that I missed out. So 1 second here.
Thank you, Ruger.
What do we got?
Marty says, I got the handle for my camera tripod like right in the way of the beginning part of the first line. So I can either see who sent it.
Here, I'll read it for you and you can answer.
Okay.
Marty says, I had one with my daughter. Me, my ex, and my son saw her on the staircase peeking over. Only problem was she was asleep next to me.
Oh my gosh.
That is creepy. That is super.
Especially when it's your child.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Did you just go like all Papa Bear on it? Because I would have gone all Mama Bear for sure.
I don't know.
Holy cow. That is really creepy, Marty. Wow. Okay.
Oofty.
Thank you for
Oofda.
that. See, everybody's got these stories. It's crazy.
Yep. Looks like Kevin says, I was valet parking cars in Vegas and a customer came in. When I opened his doors, he was like, what are you doing here? I said, pardon me? He said, I parked this car yesterday in LA.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's interesting.
That's crazy. What?
No. That would be my answer. No. But see, that's weird. I get it, and thank you for sharing. But it's different when it's like Okay, where was he? He was in Vegas, and the other one is in LA. That, if somebody said they saw me yesterday in Florida, okay, that's in Florida. But when you see yourself, when you see your own self, how do you square that in your head? That just is so trippy. I don't know. Thank you, Kevin. That's really cool. Oh, and then I see the next one where he says, I have a twin somewhere in LA.
Yep.
Love it.
All right. Celeste says, that God something whispering in my ear freaked me out. Totally forgot a time friends, family, and workmate saying they seen in the car, maybe car. I think.
Probably car.
Yeah, the V is right next to the C on the keyboard. So
Yeah. Got something whispering in my ear. Freaked me out totally. Forgot a time friends and family workmate. See. Oh, so your family and friends and workmates all saw you in a car, but it wasn't you. That's kind of weird.
Yep. Yep.
Although I have to say that having God or something, doesn't matter which, whispering in my ear probably freaks me out even more. That just sounds really freaky.
Just
What did
something
it say?
whispering in my ear sounds freaky.
Yeah. The question is, what did it say? I want to know what it said.
Mm-hmm.
That's freaky though.
All right, let's see, we've got some more stuff here.
Oh gosh.
Mermaid's got something about.
I just saw that very same one. I was just about to put it up.
I'm just do you want me to read that one?
No, I got it. My Cabbage Patch Kid turned and looked at me when I was a kid, living in a haunted place. I had to keep it though, because it was a gift from my grandpa who had just passed away. Oh my gosh, Mermaid. Holy cow. I had a Cabbage Patch Kid. I had a couple of them actually. I don't know what I would have done if one of them had turned and looked at me. Because as a kid, as an adult, okay, all right, so you got this Cabbage Patch Kid from your grandpa that just passed away. Of course you want to keep it. It's going to remind you of your grandpa. Of course you want to keep it. And if you're an adult, you have the wherewithal to say, okay, I'm in a haunted house. It's not the doll. The doll is just being moved by something else that's in this house. And you can keep that doll and keep that as a keepsake for yourself. You can separate the two. But as a kid, you can't do that. That's a lot harder to do. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine how freaked out that made you. That would freak the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
And Sarah Green says, nope to creepy dolls. Can't stand any of them. I'm with you.
I don't know. Having a Cabbage Patch doll, I had dolls as a kid and they didn't freak me out. It really wasn't until I left for college. So, of course, my mom kind of took over my room. And then, by the time I moved out, or I don't know, within a couple of years after I was out of college anyway, she had taken over my room and come home. And there's a guest bed in there now that's just like covered in all of these dolls. And I think it was the overwhelm of having all of these dolls that kind of made me step back and go, okay, you know what? I'm not liking dolls so much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole bed was like covered with them. It was crazy.
And Post Malof is our newest member. Thank you, Post Malof.
Oh, you guys are just phenomenal. I don't know what Post Malof stands for, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
Is it kind of like Post Malone and Meatloaf together?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe Post Malof can let us know. So Jenny says, dolls creep my sister out, but I've always loved them. Mostly because my imagination makes them real. As a cartoonist, making people is my thing.
Right. Well, that's,
Right
yeah.
on.
I mean, if you can kind of I don't know, I don't want to call it humorous, because just because you're a cartoonist doesn't mean that it's humorous. Humor is what you're doing. But if you can kind of just put those things in a different light, or have them in a different light to begin with, so that when people say dolls are creepy, that doesn't invade on your space of what you've already created around the idea of the dolls, and
Right.
linking that to cartoons. You're probably in a much better space than we are. That's all I can say. Stay there, because the creepy doll thing is no fun.
Yep. And Prepper is back. Hey, Prepper. My subscribers are great. If they like you, they'll stick around. I like your stories. The black-eyed kids really freak me out. Yeah, us too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I just found, I was going through some of my comments this morning to get ready for, because I knew there were some stories in there that I wanted to use for today's live stream. And I found one. Okay, a little bit of backroom or inside baseball, if you will, on YouTube. YouTube is like the worst at managing comments. Like, I
Oh,
can
that's for
look
sure.
at there's in the YouTube studio on my phone, there's notifications for new comments. You would think they would all be there because they're all new. Nope. There's some comments there. Then they have a section that says comments. You would think they would all be there. Nope. There could be different comments in each of those two places. Then, if you scroll down on your main analytics page, there's comments at the bottom down there. And they can be different from the other two places. And then, on top of that, there's the desktop version of Studio, which you can look at comments in, that can have different comments from that. So if ever I miss anybody's comments and you're like, oh, I told her a story and she never got back to me, or whatever the case is, because usually I try to get back to all of my commenters because I want to build this community and I love hearing from people and I want you guys to know that I love you. So I try to get back to everybody. And so I said all of that just to say that I was online looking for this comment for the story, for the last story, because I knew it was in there somewhere. And I found this comment from 6 days ago that I had not seen in any of the other places. That's a fantastic BEK story. So I think I think we've got at least a couple, if not three, good BEK stories. We might have to do another BEK episode pretty soon. Just saying. And I know, Mr. InBetween, you probably don't want to hear that, seeing as that we just put out the 2-hour BEK compilation.
That's fine. That's fine.
But we'll have
Hey,
another one coming up because we got good stuff. So
give the people what they want.
Exactly. As long as that works. Marty is a new member. Oh, thank you.
Woo! Thanks,
Marty has been in the house, so to speak, for a long time.
Yep.
Marty has been out there watching from the sidelines for forever. So thank you very much, Marty. Thanks for taking the plunge, and we'll do our best to make it worthwhile. I promise. That's awesome. Awesome. You guys are great.
All right. Let me get back to. Oh, where did that go?
What did I just see? Wait. Oh, Elizabeth Sisney's in the house.
Hey!
She's been a member for forever. She's like one of our founding members. Yay! Awesome. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you were here at the beginning. So you missed our whole little speech about the fact that we are going to be doing our best to give our members more value, to make it more worthwhile that you actually stay members. So
Yes.
There you go. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay, so Clyde says, I've lived in Tennessee my whole entire life and was told by 5 different people from 5 different states that they say I look like a man named Steve. Dang!
Steve!
What the heck is Steve up to, man? He knows a lot of people, I'm just saying.
Well, and it's weird that it was 5 different people from 5 different states.
And they're all named Steve. Either of these
They're all named Steve.
Maybe you have 5 doppelgangers.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to ask. Is it 5 different doppelgangers in 5 different
I don't
states?
know.
Or
Ask them next time they say hi to Steve. Take a picture, take a selfie with Steve, and then send it over to you.
oh my gosh, that's so weird.
Because that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I would venture to say that doppelgangers are probably one of the least understood of the phenomena that we tend to go over. I mean, there's theories for black-eyed kids. There's theories for Dogman and for Bigfoot. There's lots of theories out there for just about everything else. But doppelgangers, there's just nobody knows what that is, because it doesn't seem to be demonic in most cases. It's just this thing that happens that's just weird. So to have that happen in 5 different states, they're all named Steve. What the heck? That's bizarre. Wow. Okay.
All right, we got a lot of comments to get back to here. So
Oh my goodness.
going
Okay,
through 'em.
I'll be quiet.
All right. So Sarah, hey Sarah Green says, I had something in my house for a bit. My daughter saw me walk into the game room and then came downstairs and I was sitting at the kitchen table.
Oh, that just is just so
And
weird.
then I saw her walk across the hall and go into the bathroom, but the light never turned on. And when I looked in there, nobody was there. Oof. See, that's what I'm talking. Those are the kind of things that, those make good stories. I mean, especially when you can say it in a short way like you did in your 2 comments, but then just say, okay, now send me your story. What, Sarah, why aren't you sending us that story? Send us the story and put all the details in there of what happened to you and what you felt about that. That'd be awesome. We'd tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a couple parts to it there. I mean, that's a story.
Wow.
It's not like a full episode, maybe, but it's a story. We put those together. But that's a great one.
Well, and that's an important
creepy as all get out. So I apologize that you had to even go through that, but that's scary. But I'm just saying, I don't mean to be so excited that you got the crap scared out of you. But at the same time, hey, I'm pretty excited about those things.
And that's an important distinction too, because when we put stories into a video, it helps. I mean, I look for the stories that have the, there's got to be like a humanness to it and a drama to it and an ending to it to make it a good story for a video. At least that's what I try for. But not all stories are like that. Like Rick's story at the beginning didn't really have this grand dramatic ending, right? His sister did what her friend told her to do, gave it an eviction notice for 3 days, and it didn't leave. And so then she walked around the house praying in the name of St. Christopher, and it was gone. Well, that's not a very dramatic ending, but the whole thing was a great story. So those are the kind of stories that I want to tell on the live streams, because they're still great stories, even if they're not fully flushed out enough to be a great video story. They're still great stories. They're still great stories that happen to these people that we know in this community, that we're all getting to know because we see the same people in the chat feeds and stuff. That's what growing a community is all about. And so, they're happening to people that we know, so to speak, which makes them just that much more intriguing. So absolutely, those are the stories that I want to tell on the live streams. And even though they may be short, even though they may not be all that dramatic, that doesn't mean that they're not good stories. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? I hope. Because who is it that I just saw in here that said, Red Kitten just said, I had 2 unusual things happen with a ghost encounter. Well, let me know. Let me know what they are. Email them to inbetweentales@gmail.com, because they're probably great and everybody else probably wants to hear them. But then again,
a lot of people think, well, my story is not that great. It's like, well, because you think, we all diminish our own stuff.
Yeah. But then again, with all that pressure now being put out there, If you don't want to tell your stories, that's okay
True.
too.
Yeah, that is just fine. And Catkin says, when my sister was a toddler, she misbehaved and my dad put her in her cot. When my mom came home, she saw my sister leaning over the banister. She chased her upstairs and found my sister was asleep.
Wow, there's a lot of these. Maybe the doppelganger thing is more common than we think. I mean,
Strange.
our audience is not that big.
Or I wonder in certain circumstances if there's like kind of like uh some cheeky poltergeist or something that can kind of like trick your brain and certain things and just because it's fun. I don't know. Who knows?
That certainly is an idea.
Like leaning over the banister. It's like, oh, it's like, nope, they're not really there, but I got you. Haha.
Yeah. A cheeky poltergeist. I like that idea.
Yeah, cheeky.
That could be. That could be. But if you've never had any activity in your house before, that doesn't seem likely.
I don't know. I've never had any myself, so
No, me neither.
I don't know.
Thankfully. But my best friend's husband grew up in a haunted house, so go figure.
Now,
He used to play with the little boy. He used to play with the little boy when he wasn't there.
I'm amazed with the amount of research that's done for truly entertaining and disturbing stories. The wide world is stranger than you could even imagine. Wonderful job. My sincere thanks.
No, thank you, Clement. I think it is weirder than we imagine. I think there's lots of stuff out there that we just have no clue. Like none.
Yeah. And our amazing new member, Ruger HK, says, my husband says he had my doppelganger walk out of the bathroom one morning and lean over and look at him in the bed. Oh, that's creepy right there.
Oh my God.
He reached out to touch it. It walked backwards into the bathroom. I was in bed. Oh, there you go.
Okay, wait.
That's strange. So many people having these crazy doppelganger things.
So he was in the bed, and you were in the bed. You were both in bed, and this thing walks out of the bathroom and leans over to look at him. Oh my gosh.
Man, that's creepy.
That is really creepy. I can't imagine what your husband. I'm like, oh, flabbergasted all of a sudden. I can't imagine being your husband. Your wife is sleeping right next to you, and you watch her walk out and lean over the bed and look at you. Oh my God. That's totally trauma-inducing right there. Holy
Right?
cow. Wow. That's amazing. Maybe it is more popular than we think.
Yeah. I mean, John here, he says, I've never seen my doppelganger, but I can't even count how many times people are like, you look exactly like my brother-in-law. So many. That is pretty crazy.
Always a brother-in-law? That's kind of weird.
Did he always have to say, like, well, I have one of those faces. It looks like, whatever. That.
Weird.
Right. Okay. Okay. I think we have some more comments to get going, but I think people might be done with their doppelganger stories. Les, do you have another doppelganger story?
There's one more.
Nope. There is?
I got this one.
All right.
For Princess, with doppelganger, scientists say that there are 5 to 7 duplicates of us out there, meaning we look exactly the same. So 5 to 7, that puts it at like 1 in a billion as opposed to 1 in a million.
Yeah, I wonder if there's two different things. If there's doppelgangers and then there's people that look identical. Because like doppelgangers are like something on another, like because they're like somebody who looks like you isn't gonna know where you live, come to your house, and then go over you and look at you in bed, or look at your husband in bed. That's something weird, and then they disappear. that, people aren't disappearing. So I believe that there are plenty of people who look like you out there doing their own life, and they, then somebody tells them even, hey, I know somebody who looks like you. And they're like, really? You know,
Yeah.
there's only so many facial configurations, nature can go through. There's gonna be people that look like you,
Right.
but not that like, not like that.
So there's like the normal doppelganger
Yeah,
and the
there's not. I
paranormal
mean,
doppelganger.
yeah, there's a look-alike and there's a
Mm-hmm.
doppelganger.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because there's plenty of people who meet up with their doppelganger and they're like, "Oh my god!" and they get their picture taken together. Like, "Holy cow! Can you believe this?" That's
Mhm.
like a normal doppelganger.
Yeah,
But
and Kevin.
having your wife come out of the bathroom and look over you when your wife is sleeping right next to you, that's not normal.
That's not. No, it's not really
That is
normal.
not normal. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
So
what does
Kevin says we had a ghost/shadow thing in our house, on the house that my dad built. He used half the concrete slab, sorry, from the foundation. That's the side we saw strange things. Oh, so half of the concrete slab that the house was put on was from an old foundation,
was the original foundation?
and that's the side of the house that you saw the strange things on. Oh, that's interesting.
Wow.
So it's kind of
Wow.
like residual.
Yep.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
That is really
And
crazy.
Prepper Princess again says, I saw one of my doppelgangers waiting in line for a roller coaster. Oh, geez. We stared at each other and gave a nod. I love that. Never saw one in my house, though. Yeah, definitely, right? That's something completely different. For sure.
I love that reaction though. Can you imagine? Okay, so you're standing in line, you're waiting for the roller coaster, you see your double, and you just go,
Yep.
"All right,
All right.
I acknowledge you. You acknowledge me.
Let's move on.
Let's move on." I love that. That's awesome. Loving me. But from what I can tell of Prepper Princess, that's like totally her reaction.
Yeah. What is
Okay.
that? Is that your hair or something that's going on? What is that noise that every time you move, something is like?
I don't
Yeah, it
know.
must be. Are you getting the? Is that earpiece where your mic is coming out of?
This
Oh, it is. That's where your mic. Tap on that little piece that's right on your.
has that been coming out of there the whole time?
I think so.
I have my mic sitting right in front of me.
Oh, flip it over. Let's see what happens. In the meantime, I
You
will
mean
start.
so
I
we've
will.
had crappy audio this whole time?
No, I mean the audio's. It's been just fine. It's just that whenever you move your head, it goes. It's fine. We
Oh my
know. We know
god.
now. Don't worry about it. It's not some big deal. It's not like we had bad audio. Everybody leaves for bad audio, but this isn't bad audio. Anyway,
You know what?
while you're flipping it over, Red Kitten says, "I've been helping an elderly lady in my town. It's worth noting she's a Native American, and immediately upon meeting her, I felt an unusual feeling about her and her property. Like, I guess my question is, what kind of unusual feeling? I mean, like an unusual feeling in a bad way or in a good way, or in what kind of a way? Red Kitten
That's a good question.
is Red Kitten. Oh, did I miss something?
All
Oh
right.
wait, I think yeah, I did miss stuff.
Does that
I
sound
felt that. I felt. Yeah. Say it again.
does that sound better?
Yeah, you sound great.
Now I'm on the Yeti.
Yeah, good. All right. Red Kitten goes on to say, I felt that something or someone else is always around her. It turns out her husband had died a few years back. He was a huge car enthusiast like myself. One day I was in her garage when I heard I'm getting there, Red Kitten. when I heard a voice in my head say, "Stop." Then I looked to my right and I saw a plastic fuel can swell up from the 107-degree temperature. Then I heard, "Get that fuel can out of the garage." Then I looked to my left. Oh, are we catching up? Uh-oh. Oh, I think we caught up. She's still typing, I bet. Are you still typing, Red Kitten? Because we want your story now.
Now we gotta know.
Now we gotta know.
Okay, at least Sarah says that no, the audio is fine and the sound wasn't distracting.
No,
Good.
it wasn't. It was just annoying me because I'm weird that way.
Sure. But it's got to sound better now that it's coming out of a real mic.
It actually does sound better. It didn't sound bad before, but now it sounds even better. See? So that's great. You didn't completely ruin the show.
Not completely.
Not completely.
Just partially.
We still have 54 people watching us now. Thank you guys.
Oh my goodness. You guys are hanging on forever.
Why the heck do you listen to this live stream?
For 2 hours?
Yeah. I mean, are we like really that amazing? I don't know. I don't think so.
I doubt it.
Oh.
We got
says, she looked to her left and there was an open flame, a pilot light on the water heater. It was cool but freaky. And then a week later, see, we're gonna have to wait again, Red Kitten.
Catkin says, "Come on, Red Kitten, I want to know."
You got this. We're here for you. We're here for you.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, while we're waiting, here's one from Clyde.
All right.
Says, back in 1985, me and my brother and sister saw a UFO after I got married. I told my mom about it, and she saw the same thing. Her and her friend were playing in his backyard and saw it. She lived 25 miles. Yeah, there's lots of UFO encounters. Mr. InBetween.
What?
UFO encounters.
Ah, yes.
They're quite popular. Purple Princess says, "Come on, Red Kitten. Type, girl, type."
Right on.
That's funny.
And Elizabeth says, "Because we love you guys." Yes, you are that amazing. Oh, you're delusional.
You just have nothing better going on this afternoon. I shouldn't say that if I'm correct, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but Elizabeth is from Australia. So it's like morning for you, is it not? That would also make it a Monday morning. So it's not like you're just sitting around doing nothing.
Look, everybody's behind you there, Red Kitten.
The anticipation is horrible, Red Kitten.
I know. It's like, oh, here we go. I was 10 feet in the air on a ladder performing a welding repair when a foot behind my head, I heard the voice say, "Nice weld. I'm not sure I should tell the woman, but now I feel a little more at ease that." Oh, you're leaving us you're leaving us again, Red Kitten.
You're killing us, Red Kitten. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, man. And there's a delay here, so if it's coming up for everybody else, we haven't seen it yet, so maybe else should.
Okay, I got one here.
Okay.
Mermaid at Heart says we get a lot of UFOs in Ohio. I only bring that up because you have a lot of weird everything in Ohio.
You do, yeah.
Holy buckets, you got weird stuff going on.
Our friend Matt Emsch can attest to that.
If anybody doesn't know who Matt Emsch is, he is the person who had the Youngstown, Ohio dogman experience, which is completely terrifying.
Yeah, back in the 1980s with him and like 3 of his friends.
So we know there are dogmen. Because now I know Matt. And it's like, yeah, he's telling the truth. I've talked to him at length, and that guy is not lying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mermaid at Heart. We sure do. Well, yeah, we have Bigfoot stories of Bigfoot invading a Girl Scout campground, dogmen hanging out at a camper park. I don't know what else we have from Ohio, but I know there's lots. It's crazy. All right.
Oh, looks like Red Kitten got back here.
Yeah.
So I got to find out where we left off first, though. So let's see. Is 10 feet in the air? I'm not sure I should tell the woman, but now I feel a little bit more at ease that it's her husband and he is watching over her. Red Kitten is a guy. I shite post a lot, so I have to change YouTube names a lot. I get you.
I love it.
That's great.
I think you should tell her that it's her husband watching over her.
Sure, why not?
I think she would be happy to know that. That's wonderful. That's very romantic. It's so romantic.
All right, I'm going to let you take over for a little bit here so you can grab a post or two. I will be right back.
Oh, yeah. Talking about what's all in Ohio. Marty Ordonez says, Ohio grassman. Marty, can you tell me what the difference is between a Bigfoot and a grassman? Now, I have not taken the time to go do any research on it yet, but I just know that people talk about Bigfoot in Ohio and they talk about grassman in Ohio. What is the difference? Because the description sounds the same to me. So if you know, let me know. Let's see. Oh, and Elizabeth, I'm sorry. I see that you said that you're in California. I don't know why I was thinking Australia, but now I'll remember it's California. Oh, and I see your post here about have you shared any benevolent Sasquatch experiences? Yeah, I guess. I mean, we have the story of the guy who's he's getting married in a couple months, so he's out, living his best and last bachelor summer before he says I do, and so he goes out hunting and he comes across a dog man who's coming to get him, and right before it gets him, Sasquatch comes on in to save him, and then Dogman is, well, I shouldn't ruin the story for you, but there are a couple of different stories where the Sasquatch come in to save the human. I don't know that I really have any of just flat out, Bigfoot picks flowers for me every day and puts them on my deck. I don't have any of those kind of benevolent stories, but we have heard several stories of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, coming in to save the day for the human beings. I have heard those stories. I don't hear as many, but I hear more good Bigfoot stories than I hear good Dogman stories. I have heard good Dogman stories. They're just few and far between. So there's a couple out there. And I'm sure I'll run across them at some point. And I'll put the next time I run across one, I'll make sure I'll put it in the next Bigfoot video. All right. From Prepper Princess. I read a book and watched a guy that died and went to hell. He described how demons disguise themselves as people. He was in a cube in hell, and alien abductions sound the same as what the demons. Is there more to that, Prepper Princess? But the guy died and went to hell. He describes how demons. So did he come back? Was it like a near-death experience that he was able to come back and describe what it was that he saw? And he describes how demons disguise themselves as people. That does not surprise me. I don't know that I would call them doppelgangers, But it does not surprise me that demons disguise themselves as people. Because I think there are some people on this earth that are not from this earth, if that makes any sense. I mean, you go through some of the histories of some of the like serial murderers and things like that, and it's just like, wow. Like Richard Ramirez. I can't even remember what they call him. He was out in LA. I was just watching this like yesterday. Richard Ramirez. He was not the Southside Strangler. I don't know. He was a serial killer out in LA in the 80s. I'm sure you all will tell me exactly what his crime moniker was. But I mean, he'll tell you he was messed up from as early as he can remember.
Stalker.
What?
Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker. Thank you.
People are saying Night Stalker in the comments.
Oh, exactly. Thank you guys. I knew that you guys would know.
Chat.
So yeah, he'll tell you that he was messed up from the beginning. And you just look at his pictures in his eyes and maybe it's just me, but that guy just does not look like, I don't know. I think there's something else with him in that body because he's just crazy looking. No, Jenny, the Hillside Strangler, that was a different one that was just as ew. Okay. Let's see. What have we got? Oh, so Prepper Princess says, yes, it was an NDE. His name was Brian Melvin. Okay, so he wrote a book and they made a movie about it. I'll have to look at that. That sounds really interesting. I haven't gone too much into NDEs. I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure how I feel about them. I mean, trying to stay on the skeptical side of things, NDEs kind of hit me as maybe it's that chemical storm at the end of life. But then again, I haven't done a whole lot of research into it to know. Obviously there must be accounts like Brian's who his account who shows that it's not just a chemical storm at the end of life, that there has to be something else to it. I am sure if I read that account, that's exactly what I will find out. So I mean, I haven't done the research into it, but maybe I need to. I don't know. Maybe I need to look into that a little bit deeper and start doing some accounts like that. I don't know. But thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it. It's kind of scary to know, I don't know, that you may not be going to a good place. So you better be a good person.
I'm catching up on the chat here.
Yes. All right. I'm putting one up from Catkins.
Behind.
The story of the lorry. What did I just step over your feet?
No, go ahead.
Oh. The story of the lorry driver that had an encounter with a dog man and he shot it. Oh, yes. The CIA told him that he shot one of their assets. Makes you wonder what the government scientists are up to. Yes, Catkins, we did that video. That is Joe Barger. And while I do not know Joe, and I was able to get his permission just via text. So I never talked to him because I didn't have to interview him because his interview was already online. So I could just watch his interviews online to put together my narration of his story. But that's just a terrifying story as well. And it's hard for me to look at those initial interviews and think that he's not telling the truth as well. I mean, I could be wrong, but I like to think that I'm a pretty good reader of people. And he's another one that comes across to me just as being very genuine in his long form interviews. You got to watch the long form interviews. You got to watch the ones that are like 2 hours long, so that are not cut up, so you can see all of the body language. And it all he looks legit to me. And that is just terrifying that, the CIA comes out and says, you killed our asset. What is going on? But if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you will know that I believe it is not a stretch to think that the government might just be keeping a secret or two from the people. That's all I'm saying. Now watch my feed go down. Crazy. Elizabeth says, yes, serial psychopaths are more terrifying than monsters. They will absolutely not stop until stopped. Yes. I love true crime. Love true crime. True crime. In fact, it was, do I do scary stories? Do I do paranormal stories? Or do I do true crime? So, serial killers are just, they just scare the bejesus out of me. Although I don't know which is worse, though. Which is worse? A serial killer, so you have 5 women dead. So the police know there's a serial killer out there and they're looking for him. What is scarier, the serial killer that you're still have yet to catch? Or is it things like the Black Dahlia? Elizabeth Short, I believe is her name. Yeah, because I used to work with an Elizabeth Short, and I was like, oh. But yes, so her name is Elizabeth Short. Was killed in the 40s, I believe it was. So horrific crime. The woman is cut in half and left out on somebody's empty lot to be found. But that's it. Not a serial event, just a one-off that they never catch. I'm not sure which one is scarier, knowing that there's a serial killer, because at least the more they kill, you'll catch the pattern. You'll catch that person eventually. The one-off, chances are not good that you'll ever catch the person that did it if it's just a one-off, and then that person is roaming around forever. I'm not sure which one is more terrifying. Just putting that out there. Crazy. Oh my gosh, what do I see right here? Elizabeth Sisney. Sister, where is the thing? There it is. Sister, you rock. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth.
Much. Thank you.
You are awesome.
You are awesome.
We appreciate you.
Gosh. Okay, we really have to up our members game. Like that should be a no-brainer, right? But thank you. Okay. Ooh, Marty's got an interesting one here. There are rumors that the government released up to 2,000 dogmen into the U.S. I think I've heard something like that. I mean, just fuzzy, but something like that. So the question is, where did they release them from? And are they just in the U.S.? Because there are dogman stories like everywhere.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, and you guys let us know if you think this is a good idea. But we hear tons of dogman stories, but we don't hear as much on like what's like putting together, like, you know how sometimes we do like our mini documentary stuff, or we do it on Atlantis, or we do it on what have you. If there's something that we can put together that we can try to see what kind of evidence is out there for this, and then put together kind of this is what may have brought them on, what they are, get into the background of Dogman. Yeah. I mean, does that sound like something that people would be interested in? Because I mean, there's plenty of stories out there, but then you have to kind of put them together and to try to see what, you know, if you put it together, what does the shape look like? What is this? What is it that's behind all this? What's the evidence that this is either a government thing that's going on, or, you know, or what? I mean, what is to this?
Yeah. I think that would be an awesome episode. The only problem that I have with it, and, you know, I think I've said this before, is that I think, and I don't know because I haven't started researching it, but I think there's going to end up to be so much information, because then you're looking all the way back to Anubis, you know?
Well, yes,
There's a lot of information there, and that could take me quite a while to compile that into something that I can wrestle into an episode.
Yeah, but we can keep on gathering info as we go into some kind of document that we can work from. So eventually, when we have enough information, we can do that.
Yeah. Maybe I need to make you my researcher for that one.
Yeah. So that too. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. But yes, I think that would be a very good episode. I do.
I mean, is anybody aware of or is anybody interested in the Grand Canyon cave? There was, what's the guy's name again? Shoot, Kincaid, and we're researching. We're putting together an episode that should be the next episode that we have out, if we can, and that's the Kincaid Cave, the Grand Canyon Cave, where they found, Egyptian Egyptian stuff and what have you. Anyway, so if anybody's interested in that, that is coming as well. We're trying to get as much information as we can that ties back to things that the Smithsonian is doing strange out there, that are trying to hide this different information, whether it's the Kincaid Cave, whether it's the skeletons of giants, that kind of a thing, so that we can build up something about what's going on, and does the Smithsonian actually have something, a hand in that, or is that just stories? So I don't know. You guys interested in that kind of a thing?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mermaid, the Egyptian artifacts and stuff, and they found a bunch of sarcophagi on there, I think. But then now people are going around, and there's like black helicopters keeping people away. You can't go in that area. They're saying, no, this person never existed. I don't know if I buy that, but Anyway, that's what we're
interesting
working on now.
Mm-hmm. And of course, this happens every single time I do one of these documentary style ones. As I start digging into it, and I've seen the videos that everybody else has done about it, so I start looking for my own sources, figure out where, some of them have list their sources, some of them don't. So I start doing my own research, trying to figure out where all this information came from. And inevitably, I find something that nobody else has talked about, and it sends me down a completely brand new rabbit hole, which then starts sucking up so much more time that I should be used to get the video done. It's just like, oh my gosh. And the same thing is happening with this one. So
yeah, then the video becomes bigger and broader,
and it gets bigger
and deeper,
making it harder to edit and get done on time. And it's just like, seriously, it just is like every single time. Now, it's great. I shouldn't be complaining because it makes for a better video, and more than once people have said, I love the fact that you have extra information in your videos that we don't hear anywhere else. I love that. So obviously I do go looking for those nuggets, but on the bad side of that coin is that I end up getting bigger videos that are harder to edit and take longer, and then we don't post on time. I don't know. Oh, Marty says, love the Lovelock Nevada Giants. Yeah, I haven't gotten this. What we're talking about is not the Lovelock Giants. But when we get to the episode about the Smithsonian, I think the Lovelock Nevada Giants are going to come in on that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
And Edward said he was just talking about the Grand Canyon Egyptian stuff with his daughter this afternoon. So, isn't that cool?
Wow. Serendipity. Serendipity. Cokehead Egyptian mummies. I'm not sure I want to know, Jenny. Prepper Princess. Oh, I got the wrong one. But Elizabeth says, I believe once a month informative videos would be great. Just once a month? Okay. Oh, maybe we need to start doing more stories. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to get the balance right between the stories and the documentaries. And of course, we're not doing our channel any favors by doing them both. We should be concentrating on one or the other. And right now, you can't see it, and I can't either, but I know Mr. InBetween is sitting in front of his computer, nodding his head, saying we should be choosing between one or the other to niche down so that the algorithm knows where it should be sending our videos, because that's how you grow. But I have resisted doing that because I love them both. I love the documentary things, the deeper dives, and I love just telling the stories. So I have resisted, and I've stayed with both formats this whole time. And I'm hoping that I can stay with both formats.
Mm-hmm.
Notice Mr. InBetween is very quiet right now.
No, I was looking at. No, you figured me out. I'm gonna go back to Prepper
I know
Princess. You had the M Cave Mystery is another.
Yes.
To another. The M Cave Mystery to another portal. The green kids they found in the 1600s. So many stories. Definitely, we've been talking about the green kids one and doing that at some point. For a long time. I know even, AJ from the Y-Files did that one. And I was like, oh, he got to the green kids.
Well, AJ did the M Cave too. Kenny Veach's M Cave.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm, yep. Kenny Veach is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm stepping on you, Dad. I got one.
All right.
Katkin says, Caroline, can you do an episode on the Kandahar Giant? Apparently the military came across
you missed that
more
one.
while they were in Afghanistan. We already did one. Go back and look for it. We did one. It was what? Just a couple months ago, right?
Yep, a couple of months ago.
That long ago.
Yep, you'll have to go back and see that one. And actually, speaking of like members only kind of stuff, we are going to actually have coming up here for you members. We do have some extra information that we're going to put in a shorter video just for members only that can add on to a brand new witness straight out of the field, so to speak, who is an Afghan soldier who's coming forward with information. And barely anybody knows about this, so I think we're going to be the first ones to let this out.
I haven't heard this anywhere else.
Yeah, there's another an Afghan soldier witness video that we have come in contact with, and so we're going to go over their information and from their perspective. And they apparently have did witness the giant.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that's good enough for everyone.
And I think this is going to, and just to kind of expound on that a little bit, I think this is kind of, at least for a while, be the setup for the members only videos, in that we did this episode on the Kandahar Giant. Great. Now after the fact, we get this little tidbit of information that had I had it a while ago when I did the video, I would have put it in there, but it's not enough to merit another episode on it. It's just this little nugget, but it would be cool to let people know, because a lot of people like the story of the Kandahar Giant. So those, I think, are going to be the little nuggets of information. Put those out as the members only videos, because those are smaller chunks, which will be easier for me to get done in a timely manner. And it's just the perks that you guys get for being members, as you get to know the little extra tidbits of information that goes with those stories. So I think that's kind of going to be the format for those members only videos for a little while. And I hope that that's okay. And I hope that is of value to you, when I hear something new, put it in a video and throw it up for members only. They're probably not even going to be that well produced. They're probably going to end up to be more.
They're not overly edited. Anyway.
They're not overly edited.
They're more.
I was going to say flying by the seat of my pants.
No,
they'll be a little quicker, less polished. Just to get the information out there, kind of a thing. That's the idea at the moment. Let me know if that's a good idea or not. We'll find out.
And Elizabeth says that she listens for the true stories to learn as much as possible as she can about Dogman.
Can't say I blame you. I will be looking up, working on that episode to learn as much as I can about Dogman. And I'll let you know. I'll let you know what I figure out. I don't know. It's just weird. Because there's just so many different, and now people talk about different species of these things, and some of them there's different descriptions, just like Sasquatch, different ones look different. There's different family clans, or I don't know if that would be the best way to describe them or not, but it's like, oh, okay, well, where do they come from? And they are sightings all around the world. We've done stories of them in England, we just did the one in Africa. So it's like, I don't understand. So it's not like it can be just something that's been released in the United States. It's got to be everywhere. So I don't know. We'll have to find out. I will keep you posted, Elizabeth.
And Marty says, have you heard anything about the Superstition Mountains? Supposed to be a Bigfoot tribe there.
I have heard that the Superstition Mountains are a very weird place to be. I don't know that I've heard that there's a Bigfoot tribe there, although I might have heard that at some point, and I'm not remembering right now. But I just remember that the Superstition Mountains are very weird. That's about all I know about them. So maybe I should put on the idea list to look at. You know what? Now that I'm saying that, it might already be on my idea list to do the Superstition Mountains. It might just be.
It might. I've been seeing a lot about people putting out videos on the Superstition Mountains recently.
Yeah, they're weird. That's for sure. Do I have it?
Right. See what Prepper Princess put up here.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. The Cave of the Ancients is a book written about a cave where they found futuristic technology. It was written long before the internet and mysterious stories were in vogue. Ooh, that's really interesting. Because one of the things I know for sure is on the idea list is an episode on ancient technology. And what the hell is it? What's the name of that mechanism that we had in the Atlantis video?
Oh, I don't remember.
The Anka something. I always sound so smart when I say that, don't I?
The Anka something. Yeah,
the Anka,
that's good enough.
Was that it? Was it the Antikythera mechanism?
That sounds probably correct.
Yeah. So there's a few things like that are ancient technology that we were going to do an episode just on those ancient pieces of technology. So now that I know that there's a book, what is it? Cave of the Ancients. Okay, I got to remember that. I got to write that down literally right now.
I think there's a reason why there's a lot of things that are being kind of pushed out of the memory of humanity. I don't know if it's on purpose or what, but about where we come from and the things that they're finding that show that no, we weren't just around like there was technologically advanced human civilization before the ancient Egyptians, or what we consider the ancient Egyptians, that were probably there's so much that's being found out now that seems to just be poo-pooed right out of the gate. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, these things are obviously there, and no, it's not a natural, nature doesn't make this kind of stuff. It's just, I mean, it's obviously man-made, or whether it's humans or it's something else, I don't know. We don't know anything before a certain point. But it seems like nobody wants us to even look to see if there's what it is.
Mhm.
That's the thing that intrigues me, like, more than anything at this point right now. I think that's why I got us so deep into the Atlantis and in the Sahara thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that
Well,
was me that pulled the channel there. If anybody's like going, oh, why did they do that? Yeah,
that
was
was
me.
Mr. In Between.
That was definitely me that pushed that one in.
But I mean, interestingly enough, one of the biggest sources for those videos was Jimmy Corsetti. And Jimmy Corsetti has been coming out a lot lately talking about how the World Economic Forum, their influence on archaeology, they're like halting all of the digs, and in some cases even burying things back up to preserve them,
like Göbekli Tepe.
And preventing us, the regular people, from having any opportunity to figure out how far back do we really go? Who were the first people? Where did they come from? Because it was more than 10,000 years ago. It's just like, so that's kind of frustrating. So, all right. So yes, Prepper Princess, I wrote down that book. We should be doing ancient technology. Oh, and I'm working again here, Mr. In Between. Red Kitten says Y Files did 2 great episodes on hidden technology and people who were killed because of their amazing inventions that would change the world. Free energy devices. Yes, I did see their episode, and I certainly will be using them as a source. That is for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, they do so much amazing stuff, and sometimes it's frustrating because like, quite often we'll be like going after a specific episode, and then all of a sudden, like a couple of days before we put that out, AJ goes and puts that video out. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But there have been a couple of times when we've put out something first, and then the day after he puts out something, and takes all the wind out of our sails there. So
right.
We love them to death, and they frustrate the hell out of us at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I will say that if we release things in close proximity to each other, we do manage to get a slight influx of people who then go search that thing, and then our video comes up, and so we get some extra views that way. But it is kind of frustrating, though.
Yeah, although he has great information. That's why we use their videos a lot to do research, and then we try to see, okay, what information isn't even there yet that we can tap into that they haven't tapped into, so that we can offer something new.
Yeah, that is the hard part, to offer something new.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I got one again, Daddy.
Okay.
Catkins, I think the true history of this planet is definitely being covered up. Our true history and reality we live in is classified, and no one has the right to do that. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff that we are not being told. And I believe that they don't have the right to do that. I don't care how much you think the human race is going to freak out if we know that UFOs are real, or if it's a matter of national security. No, there are just some things that you just do not have the right to not tell people. Just saying. What else do we got? Prepper Princess. That was a boxer made a perpetual magnetic motion device in his barn. He couldn't get a patent on it because Scientists said it was impossible. He died broke trying to get investors at county fairs. Oh, wow. Okay. That's just nuts. I mean, I don't know that, I don't know that a
Have a
perpetual
great day,
motion
Clyde.
machine- Oh, thanks, Clyde. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks for becoming a member. We appreciate it.
Yes. Now go to church.
Yeah.
That is more important. I don't know if perpetual motion machines are real. I have no idea. But if this guy says that he made one, I mean, at least he has the right to find out. And why wouldn't scientists want to know? Why would they just shut him down? That is just so. It's the same thing with the electric universe. I don't know if the electric universe is real or not. I don't know if that's the theory that brings everything together. But the people who are studying that have the right to have that. Actually, I shouldn't even say it that way. We, the people, have the right to hear their argument, their debate, their theory. Let's see the math. Let's see. Then that's part of the electric universe problem, is that people say there's no math to go with it. If you don't have the math, it can't be real. Well, okay,
Or
except that we can reproduce it in a laboratory. How's that?
Yeah,
So, I mean, they deserve to have their ideas heard in the public debate forum,
Well, and the current way to look at it, the math has been built around it. That's part of the problem, is like, here's the way you look at the universe. Well, we built the math to show that to be true. It's math can be used in many different ways, not just statistics.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, I hear Gracie barking out there too.
Yeah, like she's about done.
Yeah.
She's like, you guys have been on long enough. It's time to pay attention to me.
We have been on for a long time. My goodness.
I know. It's crazy. 2.5 hours.
I don't even know.
And we still have almost as many people as we had at the peak. That's just crazy.
That is crazy. 54 watching right now, I think.
Pardon me?
I think there are 54 people watching right now.
Yeah.
2 hours ago.
Amazing. So.
Is it? Yep. 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Nuts. Okay. Red Kitten. What is the Granada Treaty? I don't know what that is. Here's another thing that amazes me. It amazes me how many people leave in the comments, hey, have you ever thought about doing a story about this or about that? It amazes me how many things are out there, like big stories that I've never heard of, like the Mount Vernon Monster one. Yeah, Mount Vernon Monster. I mean, that came in from somebody who listens to the channel, who grew up in Mount Vernon, Virginia. And they had a Bigfoot or something like that in the woods just a few miles outside of Washington, D.C. in the 1970s. So kind of a populated area. I mean, obviously there's lots of woods there, but never heard of that story before. Never. Most of the people around there had never heard of that story, So we did that story. And now there's all kinds of comments coming from people going, I grew up in that area in the 70s too. I heard it too. It's crazy. It's crazy how many stories are out there to do, to do an episode on. It's nuts. Oh, William Bodie, you're in the house. I didn't even see you here. Thank you for joining us. Love it.
Hey-o.
Another guy who's been around for a while. Oh, okay, Red Kitten. The Granada Treaty was an alleged treaty between Eisenhower and the aliens. Got it. Okay. I just didn't know it by that name. I've heard of it, obviously. I haven't looked into it or anything like that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't get into aliens a whole lot, and I'm not sure why. I do someday want to do the Travis Walton story. because it's just so well documented. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's witnesses, there's lie detector tests, there's just about everything, every kind of proof you could want is in that story. But I have yet to be able to dig into it. So, because I think that's going to be kind of a bigger episode.
Hmm.
So I keep putting it on the back burner because it's going to be a bigger episode, and I'm just afraid that I'm not going to have time to do it instead of just digging in and doing it. But
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't know why I don't get more into aliens.
I don't know.
I
You
don't
know
know.
what I think in that whole thing? I mean, I've got a lot of my own opinions on that don't agree with even yours probably, but like personally, I'm not convinced of aliens, even though I've had UFO sighting myself that I documented on the whatever website that was back in the 90s. But I'm wondering how much of the UFO alien story is something that is kind of a distraction, by CIA, government, whatever it is, just to keep us looking over here while they do the magic trick on the other side. I don't know. I don't know. That's my take, because I'm not seeing any as much evidence of it, but
Well,
I
how do
know
you?
how much hypnosis and trickery is behind the a lot of the UFO stories that are out there, because they actually will come out and they'll talk about, or they'll talk to somebody, or they'll make an experience happen for someone who then believes it, and then they manipulate this person and whatever, and then the people that have been found out to be the manipulators behind this stuff, then all of a sudden, everybody knows that they manipulated everything. I'm talking about a specific guy, I can't remember his name, and then all of a sudden it turns around and now he's talking to UFO conventions and stuff, and it's like, why do you believe this guy? He just
Right.
he just he just led somebody to kill themselves because of manipulating him into thinking that there's these aliens that were in UFO experiences or whatever, and then led him every step of the way until he killed himself. And then now you're putting him up on your stage and saying, "Yeah, we believe you." I'm like,
What?
what?
What? Yeah, I don't remember that guy's name either. I bet somebody else does though.
Good night, mermaid. Glad you
Oh, good
stopped
night.
in. Thank you.
Good night. Ted Gunderson. Is Ted Gunderson the guy who Red Kitten says Ted Gunderson? Is that the guy who killed himself? I think so. I don't think that was the
I
name
don't
of the
remember
guy.
right off. I don't remember. Maybe.
I don't think that was the name of the informant guy. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
But
it's hard to know, but I don't know.
yeah.
There's so much in the whole UFO, MIB, CIA, Project Blue Beam.
Yeah.
Just like get people to believe this. Once we'll know that all our plans are unfolding, when everybody believes the exact opposite of what's true. That those
Right.
kind of comments and statements.
But then okay, so in your view then, is a story like Travis Walton, is that a story of mass hypnosis?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know if I'm right, but
Sure.
because I don't trust myself to know everything or to not be manipulated. I think we're
Right.
all manipulated. I
Yeah.
think it's best if you know that you're manipulatable, because if you're thinking you're the person who can't be manipulated, you're probably the person who's being manipulated more than anyone else.
The first one. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
being a hypnotist and NLP practitioner myself, These are things that happen to people.
Right.
And when you hear hypnotists saying, no, whatever you do under hypnosis is, you get to control whatever, it's BS, because the CIA has been doing it to people. They've been studying hypnosis. They know that hypnosis for certain people can get them to do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. And so when there's hypnotists saying that this isn't true, that that's not really hypnosis, whatever, for most people, correct. But for some people that are extremely that can succumb to hypnosis very, very easily, and be guided by suggestion very easily, they can do things that they didn't want to do.
Right. All right, Elizabeth Sisney has to go. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Great seeing you.
We will talk to you soon.
As always.
Mm-hmm.
Have a great one.
Okay, so do I have this name right? Kara Sturd says Richard Doty is the one who drove that man to suicide. And I believe, in my opinion, is probably spreading disinfo now. Yes, probably. Richard Doty. That was the name I was trying to come up with. And yeah, I mean, he's already been exposed as a disinformation guy. He confessed to it. Why would we believe him now? Why? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Can't trust anything that comes out of that guy's mouth.
That's for true.
And maybe I'm saying too much, but I believe there's a special place in hell for people like that. Just saying.
Yep. All right, so we should wrap on some kind of something here.
Something. Oh, okay. One last thing here. William Bodie wants to know if I ever looked into gins. I did a little bit, and it's on the idea list. It's just not an episode that we've gotten to yet. And I know that is not the answer that you wanted. But I just wanted you to know, I see you, I hear you. It's just not on the episode list yet. It's on the idea list. It's just not, we don't have it. We've got so many things coming up, and that's not in the rotation quite yet, but you never know.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for something to kind of fall by the wayside, or get not fall by the wayside, but get stalled out because something happened. Like, this is becoming too big. I can't get this done this week. We have to put this off until I have more time to finish. So what else can we do for this week? That happens on an unfortunately pretty frequent basis. So you never know when it might get popped into the rotation, but it is on the idea list, just so you know. So that's all I have to say about that. All right. Yeah, we should probably, it's been almost 3 hours.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we have so much to do today.
That's great.
So
that's crazy.
Man, you guys are so awesome for hanging out with us for so long here. Nearly 3 hours, something like that. And
that's awesome.
And for all the new members, thank you so much. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you to all the new members. Thank you so much. That helps us a ton. It does. Definitely. It does.
And we have all different,
bringing in new stuff.
We do have all different levels of memberships. So
yeah. If nothing else, we just need to schedule. I mean, occasionally we do these on Sundays, but we just have to schedule, I don't know, Wednesday night or Thursday night from 7 to 8 or something.
Yep.
Live stream with the peeps, live stream with the members, and just do it and put it on the schedule. And that's the best that's the best value that we can give right now.
Yeah.
But
so that will get better as time goes on.
Yep. So I just have to figure out how to make that work so that we are talking to each other face to face. That's the part I got to figure out.
See.
Okay.
See.
All right. So I think it's time to wrap this up. Good night, Edward.
Good night,
So
y'all.
funny. Good night, y'all.
Big
Good
love
night,
to everyone.
Kevin. Good night, Bradley. Oh, Killer Rage. Killer Rage pops in right at the very end. I mean, I'm sorry if you've been on here and I haven't seen you, but I have not seen your name pop up.
Yep, he went in for a moment before. I saw him
Okay.
before.
All right.
He's amazing.
Yes.
Y'all's are amazing.
He's always there. He is always there, Nate Joe. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Morty.
Okay.
Thanks, Ruger. Thanks, Sandra, Edward.
William.
All y'alls. We could go through another
y'all.
10 minutes going through all the names, but we got to get going. So,
all right.
All right,
we're going to
guys.
wrap this up. We will see you all next time. Thank you so much. Be careful out there. And we will see you again on the In-Between.
See you guys.